tell you just a little bit more about this particular type of aircraft. The type that attacked Pearl Harbor was this very type of airplane. This particular model, down the backside, Warren Peach does the 1/2 Cuban 8 smoke it on. Goes into stop the aircraft every time. Now, if you look high and to the right, you can see the formation and also another aircraft that's going to come back in. And we're going to mix it up again with a little more of a dogfight. More of an even fight, if you will, between two single-engine aircraft. This time, the Zero jinks left, right, left, as he's being attacked by the Curtiss P-40 Warhawk, powered by an Allison V12 liquid-cooled engine. Doug Rosenthal from Clear Lake, Iowa is flying the P-40 Warhawk today. The P-40 was used prior to American entry into the war by Clear-Chernow's American volunteers in China when China was fighting the Japanese. American aviators, some of the military, set aside their commissions for a while and flew as volunteers against the Japanese for the Chinese Air Force. They were the Flying Tigers, the American volunteer group. Very short space. The P-40 Warhawk was unable to do that kind of tight loop, but still with its armament was a formidable opponent. The P-40 Warhawk was also used a great deal by the Royal Air Force during the Battle of Britain in 1940, again before the United States entered World War II.
And I don't think I ever think about it. So happy. Got married, okay? I'm talking about Texas Bay Area credit union. Let's get a look at how to refinancing our home. They're saving so much money. I mean, literally like $500. That's how much money we're like saving on our mortgage, okay? Texas Bay Area credit union. I thought it was going to be so hard, but it's so easy. TCAU.org. Texas Bay Area credit union is making it so easy for me to refinance my home. They want to make sure that you're comfortable, you understand everything, and refinancing our home, I mean, this is low as 3.0% refinancing. I'm like so excited. I can't stop talking about Texas Bay Area Credit Union. They're ready to help you. TCAU.org. And also, hey, they want to give us some money. If you text TCAU, you can have an iPad or $50 national card. Texas Bay Area Credit. Welcome to Wings Over Houston. KSBJ is a proud sponsor of your family fun today. Visit our KSBJ game into booths, have some fun freebies, and learn to be a light this Halloween. And remember, even above the roar of the planes and the sounds of the crowd, God listens.
From San Francisco to Shanghai to Brussels, let United take you to the far corners of the earth with more than 370 destinations worldwide. You'll never run out of places to explore, especially when there's no limit to where you can fly with the most comprehensive route network. United can take you just about anywhere. United, proud partner of Wings Over Houston. Also want to thank the folks at Chrysler. Stop by their display today to test drive the new 2012 Chrysler lineup and receive an imported from Detroit t-shirt. You'll also be entered for a chance to win $45,000 for purchase of a new Chrysler vehicle. A company redefining the level of luxury that every American deserves, offering vehicles with world-class refinement, sophisticated exterior design, beautifully crafted interiors, as well as best-in-class engines. Drive one today and see for yourself. Thanks also to Silver Eagle Distributors and Bud Light, the official beer of Wings Over Houston. They want to remind you to enjoy yourself responsibly, always keep the driver to and from your money. As always, sure to find a good time at Bud Light. Here we go. We've had questions over the years. Why are those stripes on the Mustang? What are those stripes for? Well, those stripes were known as invasion stripes. And the invasion stripes were painted on all of the aircraft, all Allied aircraft, prior to that invasion of Normandy, France on June 6th of 1944. They were painted on there so we wouldn't have a friendly fire incident and our own guys shooting down our own airplanes. So that was the reason for those stripes. There were also similar stripes used in the Pacific, a little bit different, but that's what the stripes were all about. You know, as we look at the aircraft that are landing from the Texas Flying Legends Museum, there is one of the aircraft that is so unique in its landing gear arrangement, and Greg Shelton really has to keep his hands, he has very, very strong arms, because he has to hand crank that gear up. Rolling out right now, the P-40 behind it, the B-1D Corsair. Doug Rosendahl rolling out, keeping the tail wheel off the ground. And Greg Shelton's FM2 Wildcat, or the F4F. The F4F was built, I believe, in greater numbers actually by General Motors, the FM2 version of that airplane. But during the war, during World War II, companies that often had nothing to do with their original jobs became involved in helping out in the war effort in whatever way they could. The Corsair, as it rolls out right in front of us here at Show Center, as I mentioned, is one that was built by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. The reason Goodyear got involved in building an airplane like this was because they had a history of building lighter-than-air ships, so Goodyear blimp. They also built rigid airships known as dirigibles, and they had done all of the math, all of the research to know about the strength of metals. And because they knew at what point adding more weight to a piece of metal was only adding dead weight and no more structural strength, because they were building these lighter-than-air ships, Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company actually was responsible for building tail sections and flight controls like ailerons and rudders and horizontal stabilizers and elevators for about 26 different types of airplanes before they got the job to take on full production of the FG-1 Corsair for Vought, whose production lines were at their limit. The P-51 Mustangs, as they roll out right now, look at the wings on them. It was this laminar flow wing, very similar shape on the top and the bottom, that made the Mustangs, gave it such great speed. Also on the bottom is that radiator scoop, because like the P-40 Warhawk and its Allison V12 liquid-cooled engine. The Mustang had the Rolls-Royce Merlin liquid-cooled engine, also a V12 engine, developing sometimes up as much as 1,700 horsepower. The latest version of the Mustang, the ones that were built, I think it was the P-51H model, near the end of the production line of about 15,000 Mustangs, actually reached the top speed of 487 miles per hour. Now, I never believed that until I was told by several people, and I said, really, 487? And I did and son of a gun, they were right, 487 miles an hour. With a top speed of 460 miles per hour. There are only about 3 of these any place in the world that fly. You love the sound of that? That is so awesome. The first flight of the Tiger Cat, November 2nd, 1943. It could get up to 40,000 feet, fly 460 miles an hour, and only 364 of them were built. Stuart Dawson flying the airplane. Although it was developed too late to fight in World War II, the F-7F Tiger Cat was an outstanding twin-engine, carrier-capable fighter that served valiantly in Korea. It was the first twin-engine fighter in the United States Navy. Most of them were land-based as infantry fighters. Only the F-7F-4N was certified for carrier operation, but only 12 of those were built for that service. The F-6F Hellcat, another Grumman cat, part of that Grumman Iron Works line of cats, like the F-4F Wildcat, the F-6F Hellcat, the F-7F Tiger Cat, the F-8F Bearcat, and the F-14 Tomcat. You'll remember that. It can carry 1,000-pound bombs or a torpedo and foil. What an amazing aircraft. Two crew members typically. The wingspan 45 feet, 16 feet high. Two Pratt & Whitney R2800 double Wasp radial engines generated at about 2,100 horsepower each. The double Wasp means that it had 2 rows of cylinders, one behind the other, to generate that horsepower. And let's just listen. This is so rare. As little as 700 feet on the deck of the U.S. Navy aircraft carrier Hornet, steaming at full speed into the wind. It would have only one chance to get off in as little as 467 feet. The aircraft were modified at the Northwest Airlines Modification Center to carry 1,140 gallons of gas. Much of the defensive armament was removed to save weight and make room for gasoline and bombs. Even 2 broomsticks were painted black and placed in the tail to simulate tail guns. The top-secret Norden bomb sights could not be risked to fall into Japanese hands, and they were removed and replaced with an ingenious homemade sheet metal bomb sight made by one of the bombardiers. On April 1st of 1942, 16 B-25s were loaded on board the carrier Hornet at Alameda, California, and the task force set sail on their historic mission. Near Midway Island, the task force met up with a second carrier task force to provide air defenses if needed, and they began their secret run toward Japan. The plan was to steam within 450 miles of Japan to launch, but when they were spotted by a Japanese fishing boat at over 800 miles from Japan, Doolittle was forced to launch his raid immediately before the Japanese would have time to prepare a defense. Knowing that the crews would not have enough fuel to make it to their prepared landings in China, each member of the crew once again volunteered to see Canada, Greece, Israel, Morocco, as well as the United States Air Force, the United States Navy, and the United States Marine Corps. The designations of AT, Advanced Trainer, PT, Primary Trainer, and PT, Basic Trainer, were all part of the United States Army Air Corps, and when the Air Force became a separate service from the Army on September 18th of 1947, eventually the A, B, and P designations were dropped, and all of the trainers became just known as T for trainer. Mustangs going by. P-47 Thunderbird. Nelson Martino Howe. The Lone Star Flight Museum. I hope you'll join me in a nice round of applause for the pilots of all the trainers in our America Trains for War segment. Hey, carve out some time on your calendar. United Airlines offers more than 370 destinations worldwide, so you'll presents Real Men of Genius. Real Men of Genius. Today we salute you, Mr. Used Car Auto Salesman. Slick back hair, a sharkskin suit, alligator boots. You cultivate a look that oozes, trust me. You stand behind every car you sell, because if you stood in front and the brakes failed, you'd crush. Oil leak? What oil leak? That puddle under the car is just sweat from all that horsepower. So crack open a nice cold Bud Light, Mr. Peddler of the sheet metal, because when life hands you lemons, you sell them. Bud Light beer, and I suppose. 109 to the Funk Wolf FW190. Those P-51 Mustangs and the other little Friends aircraft were unable, because of the lack of range or endurance, I should say, of the aircraft, that an inability to stay out long enough to escort the aircraft to the targets, the big Friends, to the targets and back, made the B-17s particularly vulnerable to attack by the Luftwaffe fighters. And it was the development of a disposable drop tank, kind of like paper mache, that could be mounted under the wings of the P-51 Mustangs. The development of that type of disposable drop tank extended the range of the fighters, so it greatly increased the protection time that the bombers would have. The bombers would fly across the channel, sometimes hundreds of them, joining up over the English Channel in very, very challenging weather. And then the little Friends would escort them to near the target area, fending off German fighters until they got near the target areas, when the anti-aircraft fire of the Germans, that flak, those shells that would explode at pretty much the same altitude at which those bombers were flying, that could rip through the thin skin of the super fortresses and the liberators as they headed toward the target. The Mustangs would hang back, and then the bombers were on their own, fighting the fire, the flak, and the fear. They delivered their bombs on target, hopefully surviving, and then turn toward home. Soviet Union under the Lend-Lease Act. A small number were also delivered to the French forces. But one of the unique things about the P-63 King Cobra is that right through the center of the propeller shaft, there was more difficult to handle. As it goes by, you can also see that radiator scoop and perhaps even that little gun between the top of the scoop and the bottom of the fuselage. That same aerodynamic principle was applied to the F-16 Fighting Falcon. Went into design and used by the United States Air Force back in 1975. We'll see an earlier version of the P-51 Mustang a little bit later on when Doug Rosendahl flies the Tuskegee Airmen, the P-51C model. Razorback or fastback version of the Mustang. Of the 15,000 or so Mustangs that were built there, about 160 flying today. And back in 2007 in Columbus, Ohio, there was the largest gathering of Mustangs since World War II at the Gathering of Mustangs and Legends. And I believe there were 80 or 82 Mustangs all lined up on the ramp at Columbus, Ohio, and it was at the old Lockbourne Air Force Base. And it was an incredible experience to see that many of those Mustangs, and then to meet so many of the heroes that flew them, and so many of those men who maintained them during World War II. The Mustang also saw service during the Korean conflict, which was known at that point as the Air Force was its own service. In October of 1947 broke the sound barrier. It's also the same company that built the helicopter, the Model 47, that became famous during the Korean War as an air ambulance aircraft. If you remember the TV show, movie MASH, the kind of helicopter that was used in that. Bell Aircraft also was the company that designed the first tilt rotor concept aircraft, the XB-15, that led to the development and manufacture of the SB-2C. Was nicknamed the dive bomber from hell. It actually, the Helldiver got its name from an earlier Curtiss type. It was a powerful modern dive bomber that was designed to undertake a variety of combat missions. It was also tentatively required by the United States Marine and the Army Air Force. Actually, the requirements for the sea was not as good a naval aircraft as it could have, or maybe could have been. Maximum dive speed of that Helldiver was 350 knots. really stingy when it came to pilot comfort inside the cockpit. With over 1,900 skydives. He, for his real job, is a nurse running 2 local freestanding emergency rooms in Houston. Also flying in formation is Matt Jones from Pearland, Texas, and Brian Boyles from Leesville, Louisiana. He's an active duty infantry staff sergeant out of Fort Polk, Louisiana. He's got 1,150 jumps and 650 wingsuit jumps, and he enjoys all of his work with the U.S. Parachute Association. Very small canopy. Let's make some noise, Houston! With a forward speed of about 45 miles an hour, watch him as he pulls hard. And with this breeze, a beautiful control landing here for Bart Stonestreet. They will use some spiraling down and get as far upwind as possible so they can still make it in and land on top of the crowd. A number of openings in the front. These are Ram Air canopies. And they steer much like the Wright brothers steered their first airplane back in 1903 by changing the shape of the wings, or wing warping. To turn left, the jumper pulls on the left steering line. To turn right, jumper pulls on the right steering line. And when the jumper gets close to the ground, he or she pulls down on both steering lines simultaneously for the softest and safest possible landing. That's Matt Jones! And still high above and to the left. Staff Sergeant Brian Boyles from Leesville, Louisiana. And he is flying the POW-NIA. I can hear you. Great wingsuit jumps. And there you have it. Four Phantom earned by the United States Air Force, the Navy, and the Marine Corps. During the Vietnam conflict, over 5,200 were made. And they were retired from United States Air Force service in 1996. They continued to be flown by the German Air Force, the Luftwaffe. But then, the need for an unmanned aircraft was used to bring the F-4 Phantom II back into service. Ladies and gentlemen, from the right, from the 82nd Aerial Target Squadron, the F-4 At the controls is Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Pat Carr. destroying a target. With its two jet engines and being way past its normal service life, the F-4 Phantom II is now totally reconfigured to be operated remotely from a ground-controlled position with a pilot, with a joystick, and a throttle. At the controls during all of its testing and training flights as a safety pilot. That is Phantom officially known as a Q4 Phantom II. It is one of slightly fewer than 100 Phantoms left that will be seeing the end of their service life at the pointy end of a surface-to-air or air-to-air missile. They will die at a live, as a target of a live missile. That's why they are fully remote control, qualified, and capable. But we get a chance to see this as part of the United States Air Force Heritage flight that'll come by. This aircraft is from Holloman Air Force Base in Alamogordo, New Mexico, and Pat Ichikar is gonna do a slow speed pass with the gear down, and then we'll let you hear him pour the gas to it, turning full blower with the two General Electric J75 and J79 engines that generate about 18,000 pounds of thrust and enable it to reach speeds in excess of twice the speed of sound. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Pat Ichikar in the QF4 Phantom II is forever. To put this heritage flight together. You are seeing a remarkable join-up. The music you will hear shortly is something that I don't want you to miss a word of, because it was written by Dwayne O'Brien of the platinum-selling record recording group Little Texas. Dwayne came to us at an air show 15 or 16 years ago outside of Nashville, Tennessee, introduced himself to us and said, I wrote a song about the warbirds in World War II and how we ought to keep them flying. It became very quickly the anthem for the United States Air Force Heritage Flight. Now, how about a big round of applause for Tom Gregory and Major Henry Schott and Pat Ichikar and Chuck Hainline, call sign Tuna. They just accomplished a very, very challenging rejoin as we prepare for the United States Air Force Heritage Flight. John Lugo will be back on in just a second to describe it for you.
Gentlemen, catch up before it's time. became the official supplier to the Royal Air Force, the beginning of a long-standing link with international aviation. Our pilot today is also an international aviator, having competed in now his 8th World Aerobatics Championship. David Martin, 8-time member of the U.S. Aerobatic Team. Primary mission to be makers of watches that are not merely timekeepers, but are instruments for professionals. And we have a professional in the sky for us right now, David Martin, in the Breitling TAP 232. Now, what he's going to do in this test show is something that we rarely set you up for to do here in few maneuvers. He's actually going to shut the engine off. He's going to completely shut the engine off at an extremely low altitude. It's only the skill of David Martin and that wonderful TAP 232 will recover, and I'll bring you plenty of time. I'll set you up. Now, you want to get kind of towards the front. Make sure you can see David in that wonderful yellow Breitling TAP 232. But coming up in just a moment, Rob, he's actually going to shut the engine off.
That's going to be scary. I guess shutting it off is not so scary. Restarting it is a big deal, Spanky.
That's right. You got to restart it. We don't want to become a glider, but it's going to be coming up here in just a moment. You know, Breitling in 1962 came out with the Navitimer chronograph. It became the first instrument to share the conquest of space by accompanying the Aurora 7 flight on the risk of Scott Carpenter. Well, David Martin is definitely showing us. The engine is now on. Right now. Ladies and gentlemen, no engine. Ladies and gentlemen, David Martin in the tail slide. Give it up for David Martin in the Breitling TAP 232. You know, Breitling has a mastery marketing dual-time chronograph equipped with a new caliber entirely developed and produced in-house. It's the Breitling Transocean Chronograph Unitime. Thanks to its double-disc technology, the Breitling Transocean Chronograph Unitime simultaneously and constantly indicates the times in all 24 time zones. An instrument for professionals. As you can see, David gives you the nice plan view of the airplane. Flipping it over one more time and shows you the top view of the airplane. This is by design, nothing is by accident. When David Martin flies that wonderful airplane. Well, you might want to know a little bit. Aircraft Company was first produced in 1951. It was designed as a tactical transport, capable of lifting heavy payloads both into and out of short or uncrewed airstrips, as well as providing aerodynamic. The aircraft is powered by 4 Rolls-Royce turboprop engines, producing more than 18,000 shaft horsepower, enabling takeoffs on runways as short as 2,500 feet. Positioning Fat Albert behind the crowd to the left for the parade pass. Flown at 200 feet and airspeeds approaching 300 miles per hour. From the left, the Fat Albert parade pass. Stars and stripes flying proudly above the cockpit, the Blue Angel C-130. Fat Albert. Trademark of the Blue Angel since first established 66 years ago. 16 officers and 100 enlisted personnel comprise the Navy Flight Demonstration Squadron. 4 of the demonstration pilots fly at tight passing formation, the maximum performance demonstrated. Once again, I am Lieutenant Mark Piper from Charlotte, Pennsylvania, Blue Angel number 7 and the narrator for the flight demonstration, as well as the pilot for the VIPs we normally fly to the show site. Blue Angel number 8, Lieutenant Commander Todd Royal from Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, is the Squadron Naval Flight Officer and Events Coordinator. Lieutenant Commander Rich Mercado, our maintenance officer from Agua Dia, Puerto Rico, is responsible for the men, women, and equipment that keep our aircraft in the air. From Santa Rosa, California, the Blue Angel flight surgeon is Lieutenant Commander Jason Smith. From Simsboro, Louisiana, our administrative officer is Lieutenant Holly Taylor. From Omaha, Nebraska, our supply officer is Lieutenant Scott Adams. From Elgin, Illinois, our public affairs officer is Lieutenant Katie Kelly. Our Boeing technical representatives are Mr. Ed Robinson from Waverly, Minnesota, Mr. Todd Lawson from Tiger Door.
Takeoff! Have a good one! Thanks, Bo. Cleared for takeoff! Solo train rocket, boss. Boss, we're cleared for takeoff. Winds are 010 and 15. That's a tailwind. Check your front brake off. Take your trim set. Take your nose steering on. Maneuver. Jam and half full gauge. Left turnout. 6 Good day, son. I'm clear on 9. Fired up for the best eater show crowd in the country here in Wheatsville, Houston. Let's run them up.
Now, to the left, Captain McWhorter calls. Smoke on! Off brakes now, burners ready now, and the Blue Angel Diamond is rolling. As they pass before you, you will notice that the smoke is not visible on the engine guard afterburner.
Transporter rolls the formation 180 degrees to the upright position, completing the half-cuban aim. As the Diamond accelerates in the descent, they acquire the necessary airspeed for their next maneuver. As the Diamond pilots pull into the vertical, they will experience full time propulsive gravity as they perform. The opposing knife edge pass. Degrees over center point. The opposing inverted to inverted roll. Aircraft are in the carrier landing configuration as they approach for a maneuver we call the Force. facility. Modifications, while the wingmen, Lieutenant Commander Hills and Captain Cordell, maintain that minimum wingtip to canopy separation. The flight leader and slot pilot are both upside down. From the right, the Blue Angel double marvel.
Upside down.
Gentlemen, the Blue Angel left echelon roll.
Central California. Once again, the beautiful weather of the Imperial Valley provided us with optimum conditions. Demonstration pilots on the 120 training. to the right.